Thanksgiving week. Welcome to this edition of Overreaction Monday on the Monday of week 12, prior to the Carolina Panthers potentially getting a foothold atop the NFC South, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Rich Eisen along with Chris Brockman prior to that. Good to see you, sir.
What's up, brother?
I just thought week 12, that early window of games just was chock full of playoff implicating action and a lot of movement,
bonkers.
And it was really, really intense in the early window. Then came the Eagles and the Cowboys, and then that Sunday night game just up the road here in Los Angeles, California. We say hello to everybody out there watching us on our Rich Eisen Show YouTube channel, or listening to us on our podcast network, or maybe watching the cut-down version Monday afternoon on ESPN2. You ready to roll, Christopher
Let's
Brockman?
do it, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hit it.
That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, Chris, what do you have for me over there?
Let's start out. I have a plethora of topics
By
today.
the way, just really quick, just in case anybody's wondering, new to the show, long-time viewers or listeners, I have no idea what's on that piece of paper.
Zero. Here it is right here.
I mean, well, there's words on it. There you go. Thank you for showing the words.
There are words.
I have no idea. So what do you have over there?
First up, let's talk about Sunday Night Football. I was there last night. It was spectacular. The MVP chance for Matthew Stafford. SoFi is rocking. And Super Bowl 60 is the Rams to lose.
If that's another way of saying, are the Rams the best team in football? Is that another way of you saying that?
I don't think it's a question that the Rams are the best team in football, kind of by a wide margin. I'm saying they're winning the Super Bowl, and it's theirs to lose.
Well, the way that they're playing right now, but the Super Bowl isn't now. You know, it's the same way that it's the same way when you take like a presidential election snap poll a year before the ballot box is open. You know what I mean? 6 weeks in the NFL, a lot can happen. Injuries can happen. Crazy things can happen.
Of course.
And so, but going into those final 6 games, going into that final stretch of games, the Rams are the best team in football. So I can't sit here and say Super Bowl 60 is for theirs to lose, because they are playing complementary football better than anybody else. And that's the phrase of saying, you know, pound for pound, best boxer.
Right.
Great offense, great defense. The special teams with the thicker kicker now appears to be settled.
Dialed.
Because, again, the reason why they are the best team in football right now is because of all these 3 phases. But having the best record in the NFC right now is because one game ahead, and being the 1 seed of the Eagles, is because they lost that game to Philadelphia due to their kicking game.
Right.
Okay. So they've checked all the boxes right now. Stafford is 100% going into Thanksgiving week the MVP of this season.
He is.
He has played the most consistent football. And amazingly, just bring it all full circle, I called that Rams-Jaguars game in London. That was the game after which Puka Nacua got hurt in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And he was out of that game.
He was.
And Sean McVay told the broadcast crew, us, prior to the game, saying, you know, we love Puka. Puka is so crucial to our team, but we're going to look at this as a test for us because we've been so Puka heavy, Puka dependent, that we need to learn how to play without him. Mm-hmm. And we also need to distribute better. Stafford's been better since that moment.
He has.
Stafford's taken another leap.
Has he thrown a pick since then? I don't think so.
He has been spectacular. And in terms of that, interesting that you mentioned that. I have a statistic for that sort of exact thing.
I knew that you would.
I do have one right here. He has thrown 27 consecutive passing touchdowns without an interception.
What?
That ties Tom Brady for the longest such streak in the history of the National Football League, when Brady did it from week 7 of 2010 all the way through the opening weekend of the following season.
Brady won MVP in 2010, if I'm not
he
mistaken.
is one more touchdown pass without an interception shy of setting a new mark. And the Rams' next game is at Carolina, which is an interesting game because they might be...
Could be a couple of
the Rams
first-place teams.
Well, I was about to say, taking on a first-place team in the NFC South in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
So they've got 6 to go. Visiting Arizona, a home date with Detroit, their second game to potentially sweep Seattle and maybe nail down the NFC West with 2 weeks to go, with a visit to Atlanta and home for Arizona. Winnable games throughout. And so I'm going to call this an overreaction because it is disrespectful to everybody else in the National Football League that has a chance to win it. Your team in New England, Denver as well. We also see Philadelphia lost. I get it, but they're still a championship quality team, I believe. There's the entirety of the NFC North, minus Minnesota right now. So, and I'm also leaving out what the Ravens have looked like, and the Bills maybe planting a foot and pivoting, and with 6 weeks to go, the Chiefs are still out there now?
At this point, would you be surprised if the Rams don't win the Super Bowl?
No, I wouldn't be, because, again, I've seen too much happen in the NFL.
Okay.
I've seen way too much happen in the – look at the Bucs, a perfect example. The team the Rams eviscerated on Sunday night.
Well, we're going to talk about the Bucs later.
I know. I'll just because it's germane to our current conversation right now, they were 5-1. They were 5-1. They're now 6-5. They lose Evans. They lose Godwin. Get him back. They haven't seen Bucky Irving, and now Baker's got his arm in a sling. This is again I'm not speaking anything into existence. I'm just stating facts. Stafford's MVP campaign is unbelievable, thanks to the numbers, but it's also built out of a foundation of a guy that couldn't get out of bed in August. It's unbelievable.
Well, we're still believing that.
Okay. Yeah, we're believing that.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know at this point.
I don't know why you would think that they're making anything up.
There was the weird Airstream. I don't know what was going on in there.
All I'm saying is way too much can happen. And but right now it's Trading Places GIF.
For sure.
Looking good, Billy Ray. You know what I mean?
Feeling good, Lewis.
So what else you got over there?
Yeah. And kind of just piggybacking off of the Rams being clear number one in the league. We don't know who the second best team in the NFL is right now.
I would agree. Wide open. Wide open. I don't know.
You look at all the teams that you mentioned earlier. New England, okay, lost half their offensive line, the whole left side on Sunday in Cincinnati with...
For who knows how long.
For who knows how long.
Right.
At least maybe a month for Will Campbell.
Correct.
Denver has serious issues that we've seen all year. They can only really put together, a fourth quarter kind of each week. Philadelphia, we've seen the issue. We're going to talk about them soon. Philadelphia, we've seen their issues.
We've seen Baltimore go from 1-5 to 6-5.
Exactly.
We've seen the Steelers go from 4-1 to 6-5. Obviously,
Who's
the
number two?
Colts have lost 2 of their last 3.
Terrible.
Needed
in
overtime
KC.
to take care of Atlanta in Berlin. We could poke holes through. Lions almost lost to the Giants yesterday. The Packers
Probably should have.
The Packers now 7-3-1, but they're not lighting up any. Jordan Love has had 0 touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games.
They're not blowing me
He only
away.
had 4 such games in his entire career leading into this season of 0 touchdowns in a game. So we can poke holes through a lot. And we don't know who the second best team in the NFL is. I totally agree, which is part of the reason why there is definitely going to be somebody in this we don't know mosh pit over the final 6 weeks of the season. Bill Parcells famously said, and we'll say this next week when we're doing Overreaction Monday after most of Thanksgiving weekend, that the season begins when Thanksgiving hits. That's when the season begins.
Right.
You know who you are at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows who they are at this point in time, and the season begins. But do we know who a lot of this league is, other than the fact that we have a chance? Again, this Chiefs are 6-5. They came so close to being 5-6 for the first time since the year before Andy Reid arrived. They were so close to that happening on Sunday. But it's the difference between winning and losing in the NFL is such a small margin.
Yeah.
And over the final 6 weeks, I have to believe somebody is going to rise and start playing such significant football. And it could be the Ravens. I'm telling you, man.
Someone's going to rise from whoever has 6 wins, 7 wins right now, one of those teams, you mean?
Absolutely. And I told you, I think the Ravens are going to go into that Week 16 game against your Patriots in Baltimore on an 8-game win streak.
I get it, but to talk about the Ravens for a second, what are they doing that's kind of blowing you away? Lamar Jackson, what is going on with him? Their offense looks really stuck.
I don't think he's fully healthy, but at least they're, I don't know, do we have any Ravens?
No, we don't.
Okay, so let me just hit this for you right here. They do have Derrick Henry. And this is the time of year for Derrick Henry to start even sledgehammering more people because they are playing terrific defensively and they can be somewhat conservative offensively. If Lamar is somewhat banged up, he's not going to be apparently practicing on Wednesdays for the rest of the season. they don't do that just because they want to, give him some time to binge watch a show. Derrick Henry, with his 2 rushing touchdown contest against the Jets on Sunday, joined Emmitt Smith and LaDainian Tomlinson as the only individuals in the history of the NFL with 30 such games. Okay, he's now 6 behind Emmitt with his 30th. Emmitt has 36 and 8 behind LaDainian Tomlinson. And on Sunday, Derrick Henry surpassed Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, and Marshall Faulk on the all-time rushing list to get to 12th all-time. And he is now just 18 yards shy of tying Jim Brown for 11th.
Wow.
So they have him.
I get it.
And we're going to see him on Thursday night, on Thanksgiving night. And we'll see if Burrow's there as well. Because if Burrow's there slinging it around with Ja'Marr Chase back, Derrick Henry might not be enough if they're trying to go point for point. He's enough to keep Burrow, Chase, and if Higgins is healthy, off the field.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to see T. Higgins.
So those are my 2 cents. You're correct, though. This is definitely a proper reaction. We do not know who the second best team in the NFL is currently.
I want to combine 2 teams here. Obviously, Dallas, amazing comeback win in Philadelphia. And I want to combine it by talking with the Steelers. The Steelers trading away George Pickens was a far worse move than the Cowboys trading away Micah Parsons.
No. I mean, that's 2020 hindsight. That's the benefit of seeing what George Pickens is doing right now, which is amazing.
Who is what? He's probably the 3rd best receiver in the NFL this year?
Dude, changes of scenery help players. Also, Dak is a way better quarterback than Russ or Justin Fields was last year. Or anybody that they were fielding since George Pickens was coming off the campus at Georgia.
I think they knew they were going to get Aaron Rodgers this year, so why wouldn't you want George Pickens for Aaron Rodgers?
Because, listen, we had Jerry Dulac, who's covered this team forever and a day, talking about how he was late for games. He made Mike Tomlin look ridiculous.
You know what? He could show up right at kickoff for all I'm concerned. Look how amazing he's been.
I get the talent over everything sensibility, Chris.
Talent over everything,
I totally understand it. It's 2020 hindsight, seeing how he is blossoming right now in Dallas. He's got a terrific spot where he doesn't have to be the guy either.
I mean,
right?
he's made CeeDee Lamb look like the second fiddle. He's the best receiver on that Cowboys team.
Dude, I understand. On Sunday and over the last 2-3 weeks, he has made CeeDee Lamb into his own Alvin Harper. I get what you're saying.
Question.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Without question.
I see what you're saying. But there is how about this? Okay.
By the way,
listen,
have we heard Micah Parsons' name this year? Really?
What are you talking
with
about?
Green Bay?
Dude, he's all over the place. Dude, he might not be all over. I've got a stat for this one, too.
I would like to hear it because.
Here you go, dude. You know how he kept saying.
I was told he was a lock for Defensive Player of the Year this year.
First of all, Myles Garrett is called game on that right now, as we all know, right?
Yes.
He is absolutely called game on that. But here you go. Because you know how we heard this stat over and over and over again when during the summer, Michael wanted to be traded and it looked like he wouldn't be. Then it looked like he could be. And we were hearing all this. And we certainly heard every single human being in the National Football League media tell you the stat after he was traded that he's the only guy other than Reggie White to have 10 or more sacks in his first 4 seasons of his career.
Right.
This is a season 5. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy to now tell you as he's joined Reggie White as the only players with 10 or more sacks in each of their first 5 seasons. He's now joined him in that regard because he had 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and 3 quarterback pressures, and 2 tackles for loss in the victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. And,
I'm not watching Packer games. Okay. I get it. He's making an impact.
I got you. Yes. But, and you don't trade people like this. But how about let's give Dallas credit for, yes, Kenny Clark was a piece back that wasn't nearly as equivalent as Micah. But when you add Quinnen Williams next to him,
sure,
and you're able to trade for Quinnen Williams because you have multiple first-round draft choices in your back pocket, and you do go trade for George Pickens before the season, and you do get Javonte Williams off of the Denver scrap heap, and you do choose Brian Schottenheimer as your head coach, and you do get DeMarvion Overshown back. At 5-5-1, Dallas, this is a terrific base of operations for them to make a run and be the aforementioned team, as we said in our first segment, to come out of that. Who of the 5-6 win teams can come out of the mosh pit and make some hay? And this Thanksgiving game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Monster.
I will say this.
Game.
I will say this on the flagship show on Monday as well. So for those who are watching and listening now, and you'll hear me repeat it, I think the Thanksgiving game gained 5 rating points based on Sunday's results.
It's just chef's kiss.
So because the country in the early window on CBS saw Chiefs and the Colts, and we also had Fox show you the Cowboys and the Eagles to the entire country there. Now comes Chiefs at Cowboys, which the NFL schedule maker said going into the season was going to be the biggest rating of any regular season game they've ever put together.
Yeah.
So we'll see now.
Might get 50 million.
And it's 6-5 Chiefs against 5-5-1 Cowboys.
Throw the records out.
But you can't, because this is that crucial for both of them.
Yeah. It's huge.
To make a run.
I love it.
What else, Chris?
It's panic button time in Philadelphia.
Stop. You're 8-3. They're 8-3. I know listen. They have PTSD. They have PTSD there. They have PTSD from everything they've ever dealt with adversity. Rooting for the Eagles in the history of their lives that have been passed down from generation to generation. I know the way it works in Philadelphia.
This would be the great. What is it? WP? What is their radio station? It'll be the greatest week in the history of that radio station.
Dude, I get it. I think I saw our ESPN colleague Mina Kimes say it on Threads that the results from Sunday is going to make the Red Wedding look like a romantic comedy, which is a great line.
Amazing.
Okay, I get it. I understand the PTSD from the season.
AJ Brown, you wanted the ball,
dude.
You got the ball. You lost.
Well, they didn't get he didn't get the ball enough in the second half. Listen, I understand there's PTSD from 10-1 to being out of the playoffs, one and done. I understand that still resonates. I get it. You're 8-3, for crying out loud. You lead this division. The second best team in the division is a record of now 5-5-1. You split with them. There's no tie break. That tie that the Cowboys have is absolutely going to handicap them to try and surpass Philadelphia. Come on now, man. Everybody just take a chill pill. I understand it was a brutal loss. I understand the 21-point loss the 21-point lead that they blew. It's difficult to blow in the NFL. I understand we don't see that often. I understand it's the second worst blown lead in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles since the 22-point blown lead that they had in losing in Andy Reid's first game as coach of the Eagles, in Doug Peterson's first game as quarterback of the Eagles.
Oh, wow. Good stuff.
And Andy Reid went from there to being one of the greatest coaches in the history of the franchise. I know they went to the Super Bowl, but didn't win it. I get it. Everybody just relax. Let's see what happens against the Bears, who are coming and feeling great about themselves, feeling high. They're the ones with the pressure to come into Philadelphia and try and keep winning for themselves, because they might lose their division lead. Not you in Philadelphia. Everybody relax, but I know that's not their default. I totally get it. This is an overreaction. Everybody take a chill pill. You won the Super Bowl last year. Most of the players are still there. Honestly, man. And again, I know the offensive line isn't as good, okay? And I know Saquon only ran for 22 yards. It's terrible. It did not look good. There are reasons to be concerned about your long-term viability, but panic button? Come on,
There was so much drama after wins. Now they have actual reason to have drama after a brutal loss.
What else you got?
All right, I'm moving this topic up because it's germane to the Philadelphia Eagles. Winner of Bears-Eagles on Friday will be the NFC 2 seed.
I don't agree with that. I don't think the 2 seed is going to come from the South anymore, which was a chance that it could over the first half of the season. It could certainly come from the NFC North. It can't come from the NFC West because the Rams are going to win it, I think. Whoever wins that will stick the, obviously, second-place team there in a wild card spot. It has to be a division winner. and you're saying basically that the Bears are going to win the NFC North.
Yes.
By the way, their chances of making the playoffs went up from if they had lost that game to Pittsburgh, it would have been down to 45%. It's up to now 66%. Much better than the coin flip right now.
Bears are in.
Bears are being in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I think the Niners, if they beat the Panthers, they're 8-4. They're 8-4, and the Packers at 7-3-1 are the 7th seed. So, the Bears can go on. The Bears have a tough stretch starting with the day after Thanksgiving, a short week game, having to go to Philadelphia with them all frothed up and pissed off. And then the Bears after that have got to go to Green Bay, who they play twice in 3 weeks. And then there's Shedeur Sanders coming into their house.
Perhaps.
It better be. And then they have to visit San Francisco, home for Detroit. Okay, pal. Even if they win it in Philadelphia, to feel great about themselves with 5 straight wins going into Green Bay. Come on now.
It gives them a tiebreaker over the Eagles for the 2 seed.
Overreaction. Like I said, 6 weeks to go. Baker Mayfield is in a sling. I mean, the Bucs went into that game in Western New York against the Bills saying, who knows what can happen for us this year. We'll get Godwin back. We'll get, Bucky back. We'll potentially get Mike Evans back late. Yeah. And now we're wondering, Teddy Two Gloves is now running your team for who knows how long? Anything can happen. This is an overreaction. But I appreciate the question, Chris. Because
I'm just throwing it out there, man.
Bears fans have got to be just genuinely jacked about what they are seeing. But there's still a long, long way to go in the 2025 season.
All right, let's talk about that Raiders-Browns game, but I want to do it from the Raiders' perspective. And
sure. Chip Kelly fired as the offensive coordinator after the game.
Yeah, they lost their special teams coordinator earlier this season.
They fired him. Interesting way of saying fired. They didn't lose him.
Yeah. First time
they told him to get lost.
First time Pete's ever fired coordinators during a season. I think this goes back upstairs. The Raiders won't be truly competitive until Tom Brady focuses 100% on being an executive.
I don't know what that means. I mean,
it means run the team. Stop moonlighting as a broadcaster. And if you're going to be
meaning what?
5 to 10% owner and have the full control that we think he's making decisions, make decisions. Be an executive. Run the Raiders. Commitment to excellence.
Where he becomes. I mean,
he's the face of the franchise.
All right. I mean, I honestly don't know how this man multitasks. I can only assume he's terrific at it. I don't know if he wants to. I have no idea.
Well, then why are we seeing you earlier in the season with a headset on I don't know. In the box?
I don't ever want to speak for him. I just think he's getting better as a broadcaster. And by the way, 37 and change a year is not a bad way to travel the country, see all the teams, stay current, and chime in when you want.
But are you pulling strings for this organization or not? Like, who's in charge? Who's running the ship?
I mean, the general manager who he's hired and the coach that he hired and the owner of the team sitting there in Vegas.
But it's a disaster. They're clearly the worst team in the NFL.
Because they don't have an offensive line, Chris. You knew. I mean, you want to talk about, I understand the horror movie references in Vegas are all born out of the pre-snap stance of their running back. But
who's putting together kind of a nice season?
Let me tell you something. In terms of the calls coming from within the house, in terms of a true horror movie reference, we all know when you see a horror movie, you're wondering, why in the world are you doing this? Because there's the guy with the axe right there, right?
Right, sure.
Myles Garrett showing up into Vegas, rushing this quarterback behind that offensive line and the scheme that they've been running.
I'm shocked he only had 3 sacks.
Did it surprise anybody that the Browns came up with 10 sacks of Geno Smith?
Oh, my God.
On Sunday? Did it surprise anybody? Of course not. It surprised no one. Now, I know Chip Kelly, has eaten it, but the offensive line is absolutely brutal. And I'll tell you, you can't throw behind an offensive line like that. You just can't run an offense if you cannot protect your quarterback or somehow stave off the rush with a running back who they drafted 7th overall. And again, I understand J.J. McCarthy has looked brutal. Okay, and I understand the stats that I saw about my guy J.J. with a passer rating so low that it's lower than what the passer rating of a quarterback would have been, I read, if he spiked it every snap. That's how bad of a quarterback rating he had in Minnesota. But if you can't be protected, that offensive line, it was the first time all 5 of them were in front of him all season long. So it's the lifeblood of an NFL team. You want to blame Pete for it? Will he eat it? One and done? I don't know. That is up to Tom Brady, I would believe. Because if I'm Mark Davis, I'm like, all right, Tom, this was the idea that we all had coming in. Pete, your general manager, you handpicked from your time when you saw him down there in Tampa, back from your Michigan days.
Well, Gino.
And Gino might have been a Pete call. And when he was hired, when they acquired him, it sounded like a great idea. The guy that never wrote back when people had written him off in Seattle for Pete, bringing him there, stopping the revolving door, calming the situation at quarterback. But they haven't protected him from the jump. And every year, there is a result in the early parts of the calendar that by the end of the year, you're looking back saying, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, week 1.
Raiders winning in New England week 1 is that result. How the hell did that happen? So
no idea.
I don't know, man. Who are we to say? I don't know. Like it's the same thing. Like, would the refs be better if they didn't moonlight at other jobs? Would they be better if they're focused on it the entire time?
Perhaps.
I don't know.
They're having.
That's the sensibility people say about officiating, but about running a franchise. So it's not like he's going to facilities on Friday. Apparently, he's not allowed in any of these practices. Nobody would. I wouldn't, as a head coach or a GM or an owner, want somebody who's an owner of another franchise strolling around my facility and watching my team practice. So basically, he's watching film. He flies in, not commercial, I'm sure, on a Saturday, has a nice dinner on a Saturday night, calls a game on Sunday, and he's home by Sunday night. Probably watching the Raiders film and throwing up on this flight home from Dallas yesterday. I'm just sitting there wondering, when he's watching the game in Dallas, he's looking up at the scoreboard, probably seeing the Browns update on the AT&T Stadium screen. He'd probably be like, what the hell is happening? Oh, but let me go back to calling a game. If that's your point, would that make the Raiders better if he's physically there in Vegas to watch it?
Maybe.
I'll just call this an overreaction and ask you to move on. What else?
Someone other than the Colts is going to win the AFC South.
I don't think that's an overreaction right now.
I'm worried about their ability to close. 4 straight 3-and-outs.
Well, I'll tell you.
To end that game in Kansas City on Sunday.
I will tell you. Here's the distressing numbers from that Colts loss in Kansas City. Here you go. I saw them this morning, and I will read them to you now. If I had told you, okay. If I had told you that the Chiefs would have 0 sacks in a game for the first time all year,
really?
Would you have said, "Oh, that's a win for us"? If I had told you that the Indianapolis Colts would be leading this game 20-9 going in the fourth quarter,
20-9 going into the fourth quarter,
what would you have said about that?
I would say they better win this.
What if I told you that Kareem Hunt would lose a fumble and it would be the Chiefs' first fumble lost all season? Would you have said the Colts would win the game?
Yeah. I would hope they scored 30 points.
They lost.
They did.
So they did not get anything but 58 yards on 16 carries from Taylor, who was hit behind the line of scrimmage on 62.5% of his carries, according to Next Gen Stats in that loss. Oh, by the way, another thing, if I told you the Colts would get an interception from Laiatu Latu to be the third defensive lineman with 3 interceptions, by the way, in a single season since 1990, joined Aiden Hutchinson and Richard Dent in that regard, and the Colts still lost. But here's the issue, okay? The Chiefs' defense is really good.
Correct.
Okay, we have him in one of our fantasy leagues together.
We do.
And we've enjoyed having.
Indeed.
But if I asked you, Chris, would you take the Chiefs' defense or the Texans' defense? Which one would you take?
I would take the Texans.
Aha. And that's the team that's now 6-5 and seemingly getting C.J. Stroud back. And The Texans and Colts have not played each
not
other
played yet,
since,
right?
by the way, no, have not played each other since, last year. They haven't played each other.
Right.
And the next game for the Houston Texans is at Indianapolis. Rubbers meet in the road, pal. And then Jacksonville. They haven't played Jacksonville either.
Right there
so
too.
for you to sit here and say the AFC South is wide open, spot on.
Okay.
And for you to sit here and say someone other than the Colts is winning the AFC South,
That's what I'm saying.
is
the
tall
Colts
order.
haven't played
So can we put a pin in
Jacksonville
this?
or Houston
Can we
this
put
year.
a pin in this and bring it up in the Week 15 edition of the show after they take on Indianapolis and Jacksonville for the first time?
Week 15. I'm making
So the AFC South is wide open, not an overreaction. Someone other than the Colts winning the AFC South?
Yeah.
When you take the team that's 2 up on one and 1.5 up on another, when you do that?
Yeah, but one of them has Daniel Jones.
Okay. Got it. Well, 1 up
not
on
the-
another,
not-
pardon
not
me.
the- not the
So they're
Trevor
1 up on
Lawrence's-
Jacksonville, 2 up on Houston. Yeah,
More
this
than
thing's wide
anybody.
open.
Yeah, I would take Stroud. The guy's won a playoff game in his first 2 years in the
By the way,
league.
Jacksonville won their first game with Trevor Lawrence having 4 giveaways since
the playoff game
playoff
against
game.
the Chargers.
That's correct. What else?
Both Souths are wide open, Rich, because if Baker Mayfield misses games, the Bucs are going to miss the playoffs. I know I hate to talk about your son like that.
It's tough to argue this one, pal.
Yeah, he hasn't looked right for a while, and then obviously takes the big hit on the Hail Mary and doesn't play in the second half on Sunday
Couldn't
night.
move his arm, went in the blue tent, came back out there,
Yeah.
threw the Hail Mary, and then threw his arm out.
Yeah.
And he's in a sling.
It's a non-throwing shoulder, but still, it's a shoulder that's been giving him
Teddy
issues.
Two Gloves. But Teddy, listen, man.
I forgot he was the backup. He came
know.
out in the game, and I'm trying to figure out, maybe it's just because his hair's long now. I'm like, who is that?
I know.
Oh, man, Bridgewater.
I know. I don't know. We've seen a season where Mac Jones and Davis Mills have done the job. Why can't Teddy Bridgewater?
That's a great point. There's no reason he can't, obviously.
By the way, Flacco is not, by the way.
Flacco.
They've lost 4 in a row
Yeah.
since Flacco showed up and beat the Steelers on that Thursday night.
I mean, they took a swing with Flacco, and
They're
it
1 and
hasn't
5
worked.
with Flacco.
Maybe Burrow should have played on Sunday. Probably would have won the game.
Tell me about it.
Probably would have beat the Pats, but I don't know.
I'll just call this an overreaction.
Okay.
Chris. I'm going to call it an overreaction.
Sadly, the
'Cause
pirate ship is sinking.
Why
man.
shouldn't if the Niners beat the Panthers, right?
Ooh, we're going to talk about that.
If the Niners beat the Panthers, then you've got a half game lead here. Okay? And then Carolina is got the Rams next before a bye. And then they face each other twice. Baker comes back by week 16. First of 2 times that they face Tampa. And in between that, Carolina's got to face Seattle at home. And yes, you know, Seattle's the kings of winning on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Or Eastern time zone. That's overreaction.
Oh, man.
If Baker comes back by week 16, doesn't matter. All you got to do is just win the division. And guess what? You get a home game, probably against the second place team in the NFC West.
Yeah, probably.
What else? You got one more?
2 more.
2 more. Look at us.
Yeah. Well, a lot of good games, a lot of good topics.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs is so good at football.
That is correct.
He is the best non-quarterback in the NFL.
So are you saying he's the offensive player of the year is what you're saying? That is 100% what you're saying. He's the offensive player of the year.
I think you got to talk
And
about
better,
it.
and better than Myles Garrett. More impactful than Myles Garrett. He's better than the defensive player of the year, which honestly, I don't know how Myles Garrett does not wind up defensive player of the year.
I mean, I know,
By the way,
I know
did you
Cleveland
see-
won, but they have 3 wins.
Did you see?
This guy impacts winning.
Do you see Myles Garrett has 18 sacks that leads the NFL? Do you know who's tied for second in the NFL in sacks? Is Myles Garrett over the last 4 weeks.
That's really funny.
Okay. With 13.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Now, Gibbs is the offensive player of the year over Jackson Smith and Jigba, who, by the way, the question about Jackson Smith and Jigba coming into the season was, will he be better
With
than DK Metcalf?
Right.
Will he be more impactful than DK Metcalf?
I know.
He has broken DK Metcalf's franchise record for single season receiving yards
In 12 games.
in 11 games.
11 games. Oh, they've had a bye already?
Yeah.
Jeez.
in 11 games.
He's so good.
Yeah. So there's him, and there's Jonathan Taylor. Jahmyr Gibbs has a chance to wrest this award from both of these guys.
Jahmyr Gibbs single-handedly beat the Giants on Sunday.
He had a career high in rush yards with 219. I don't know. Have we built that board yet for our
if you had him in some fantasy leagues, he had 60-plus points.
Remember we told you about Jahmyr Gibbs as the most touchdowns of anybody. We had the list of most touchdowns of anybody before the age of 24, right? Remember we had that list?
Hey, past Barry Sanders, right?
Well, Sanders is 47, Moss with 44, Emmitt Smith with 43, Jim Brown with 42, and Gibbs had 41 to be in fifth place. He's now tied with Randy Moss for second most. He's now up to 44. He's 3 behind Barry Sanders. There it is.
He's going to set this. He might do it next. Might do it on Thanksgiving
against Green Bay
on Thanksgiving. He might do it
because he's 24 for the rest of the season. He doesn't turn 24, and there will be a new league year in the NFL before an actual new year for Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes. So
I can't stop thinking when I think about Jahmyr Gibbs. I can't stop thinking about
he's unreal.
When we all thought that they reached in the draft to get him after trading up, and then you're like, well, they beat other teams to the punch
because they already had Montgomery.
Yeah, and they're like, what are they doing?
What are they doing? Yeah, correct.
This is what they were doing.
This is what they were doing.
Man, he's so good.
He runs away from people in a way that is so breathtaking. You know what he looks like? Reggie Bush in college.
Good one.
That's what he looks like. Reggie Bush in college against pro people.
Is he better than Myles Garrett? I guess that's what
this is what you're saying right here.
That is what I'm saying.
I don't know. Let's say I see what you're saying.
He's so good.
And it's more than just saying he has a chance. Okay, Dumb and Dumber. He's really that good.
Honestly,
I agree with you.
If you had Jahmyr Gibbs in fantasy and lost, like, what is wrong with your team?
Meet my 14-year-old.
Had Jahmyr Gibbs and lost?
And he had Josh Allen last week and lost as well. He's so unlucky. The other people are on a bonanza against him. He is so despondent. When you see Cooper this week, give him a hug.
No.
He needs one. He's so upset. You have no idea. You have no idea. He's unlucky. He's losing his mind.
That's pretty brutal.
What else?
Well, he's not getting chopped, though. You are this week.
That is correct.
Sorry.
That is correct. Okay.
All right, last one.
I'm trying to keep a stiff upper lip and show a 14-year-old that a 56-year-old can handle being chopped in a guillotine league, even though I'm screaming inside. I'm trying to be a good dad.
Oh, man.
Trying to lead by example.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to see enough of his father cursing on Saturday against Ohio State.
Perhaps.
What else?
Last one.
Yes.
Monday Night Football, a really interesting matchup. Obviously, we're taping this Monday morning. 49ers, Panthers. The loser tonight doesn't make the playoffs.
I disagree with that. Because we just already established that the Panthers can win the division, even if, because the Bucs, I said, even if Teddy Bridgewater's got to play some games, the Bucs and the Panthers haven't played each other yet. So even if the Panthers lose tonight at 6-6, they're only a half game behind a Bucs team that is banged up. Again, it's going to come down to winning the division, not making the loser of the division doesn't make the playoffs, but they can fall to 6-6 and still make it.
NFC
not as a
South,
wild card, but as an NFC
gets,
South leader.
Gets one team,
and
right?
if the 49ers fall to 7-5, they would fall out of the playoffs. They would be behind the Lions in the 9th seed, and have a difficult time of being the division winner because the Rams are far ahead. And then the Niners would have the problem of needing to be better than the Panthers the rest of the year.
I think it's going to be tough for an NFC division to have 3 teams.
I think the loser, if the Niners lose tonight, it would make it more difficult for them to make the playoffs, but they weren't out of it entirely. I wouldn't say that. But if they lose tonight and they go in to Ohio next week where they have trouble winning into Cleveland, just ask any fan of the Niners about how they do in Cleveland. And Shador shows up. And by the way, Kevin, he's got to show up as your starter. How about Stefanski saying, we'll deal with it this week? It's like, come on. We'll talk about it on the flagship show.
I'm sure we will.
Good stuff, Christopher.
Fun.
Yes, check out the Rich Eisen Show every single day, 12 to 3 Eastern time on Disney Plus, the ESPN app, ESPN Radio, SiriusXM Channel 80. All of our podcast offerings, No Contest Wrestling, Jim Jackson Show, all 3 hours of the Rich Eisen Show can be heard the way you're hearing this one if you're listening to us through the Rich Eisen Podcast Network and the ESPN Pod Center. Let's have a good show today.
Let's do it, man.
All right. For Chris, I'm Rich. Peace out on Overreaction Monday. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.